Today we are going to discuss the classification of living organisms. The body of living organisms consists of systems, which consists of organs, which consists of tissues, which consists of cells. The cell, it is the building and functional unit of living organisms. Living organisms are classified according to the number of cells into unicellular and multicellular living organisms. What's the difference between unicellular and multicellular? Unicellular, I mean their body consists of only one single cell, like in case of bacteria. Multicellular, I mean their body consists of many cells, like animals, plants, and human. We have two types of cells, animal cells and plant cells. This is the shape of plant cell. The plant cell is characterized by having cell wall, which give it its definite shape, while animal cell has plasma, or you can say cell membrane, and of course both of them contain nucleus. Although the similarity of all living organisms in their building and functional unit, which is the cell, as well as in the features of life such as nutrition, excretion, respiration, reproduction, movement, sensation, and growth. Also, they differ from each other in many other characteristics, such as shape, structure, way of living, mode of nutrition, and way of reproduction. What is meant by nutrition? Nutrition means feeding, or you can say it is a scientific study of food and various modes of feeding in living organisms. We can classify the living organism according to the way of nutrition or feeding into two types, which are heterotrophic and autotrophic. Autotrophic nutrition like what? Like green plants and some types of bacteria. What happens in green plants, or you can say how green plants feed. The green plants absorb carbon dioxide from air, water, and salts from soil in the presence of sunlight to form their food. And this way of feeding is called photosynthesis process. In this process, the green plants use a simple raw and low energy inorganic material such as we see before, carbon dioxide, water, and mineral salt, and the plant gets them from the surrounding environment and change them into high energy and complex organic food such as carbohydrates, sugar, starch, proteins, fats. So if I told you give reason, green plants are called autotrophic living organisms. Green plants are considered autotrophs because they manufacture their own food by themselves. They can manufacture high energy types of food, I mean like carbohydrates, protein, lipids, and fats from simple raw and low energy material like carbon dioxide, water, and mineral salt, of course in the presence of light to form their food. What is meant by heterotrophs? Heterotrophs, I mean they are living organisms that can't make their own food by themselves, and they obtain their food from the bodies of other living organisms, maybe green plants or from the animals that have previously fed on plants. Heterotrophic living organisms are classified in three types, which are holozoic, parasites, and saprophytes. Holozoic divided in three parts or three types, which are number one, carnivores that feed on animal flesh like cats, dogs, eagles, lions, and tiger. Herbivores, they feed on plants such as rabbits, cattle, horses, sheep, and cows. Omnivores feed on both animals and plants like man. The other type is called parasitic living organisms. I mean they are living organisms feed on other living organisms such as mosquitoes, bilharzia, houseflies, and most of worms. Number three, saprophytes. Saprophytes, or you can say saprophytic nutrition, like many kind of fungi such as bread mold fungus and saprophytic bacteria. Due to the enormous diversity in living organisms, so the need for classification process was appeared. What's meant by classification? Classification means the arrangement of living organisms according to their similarities and differences among the living organisms. What is the importance of classification? Classification aims to facilitate the study of the living organisms and identifying them. The science itself which study classification is called taxonomy. So what's meant by taxonomy? Taxonomy, it is a branch of biology and it is the science that concerns with the classification of living organisms in groups on scientific basis. When we are talking about classification, we should know very important concept which is called species. What's meant by species? A group of individuals that have the same characteristics, like cat species, animal species, human species. And there are some conditions for species. Number one, they meet with each other. This is number one. And producing individual similar to their parents, and they are fertile. What is meant by fertile? I mean can reproduce like their parents. There are some living organisms we can't name them species because they come from mating between two different species, like tigers. Tigers come from mating between female lion and male tiger. And of course, tiger is infertile and can't reproduce. Another example, mules. Mules come from mating between male donkey with female horse. And of course, mule is infertile. Each living organism has many names in many languages, such as cat in English, قطة in Arabic, chat in French. So, a need is appeared among scientists to name the living organisms with one scientific name. There is science called Carlos Linnaeus. Carlos Linnaeus created a system to name the living organism, and this system is called binomial system. What is named by binomial system? Bi means two, nomial mean names. I mean the name of living organisms consists of two names. The first name of the living organism is represent genus, and it begins with capital letter. And second name is species, and it begins with small letter. What are the conditions of writing the scientific names of living organisms in the binomial nomenclature system? There are three conditions, which are number one, it must be written in Latin language. Why Latin language? Because Latin language was chosen as a scientific language because its words have brief meaning, and it is an old language that is not spoken by anyone now, and this protects it from any changes or modification. So we can consider it the language of science. Condition number two, it is written in italic. It is written in italic letters or underline the words of genus and species to be differentiated from other living organisms. Condition number three, every organism has binomial name which is composed of two names. As we said before, the first name represents genus and it begins with capital letter, and second name represents species and it begins with small letter. For example, the scientific name of a human is Homo sapien. Homo sapiens. And as we said before, the first one represents genus and second one represents species, and it starts with capital letter and species starts with small letter. Another example, the scientific name or binomial name of cat is Felis domesticus. Felis is the name of the genus, it means cat in Latin. Domesticus is the name of species and it means domestics in Latin. And now we'll talk about very important concept in classification, which is called taxonomy hierarchy. What is meant by hierarchy? Hierarchy means triangles, and these triangles contain 7 classification levels, which are level number 1, classification, level number 2, phylum, level number 3 is called class, level number 4 is called order, family, genus, and the last one, species. From the attempts of scientists to classify living organisms, the attempt of scientist called Carlos Linnaeus. He put a traditional classification system that classified living organisms into 2 kingdoms only, which are animal kingdom and plant kingdom. Another classification for science called Robert Whittaker. He put a new classification system in 1969, and this system was called modern classification. He classified the living organisms into 5 kingdoms, which number 1 kingdom Monera, number 2 kingdom Protista, number 3 kingdom Fungi, number 4 kingdom Plantae, and the last one kingdom Animalia. And now let's solve some question. Question number 1. Number 1. Tiger is not given the term species because number A, it is not similar to its parents. Number B, is unable to mate. Number C, it is fertile. Again, give reason. Tiger is not given the term species. Why? We have 3 choices. Number 1, not similar to their parents. Number 2, it is unable to mate. Number 3, it is infertile. Which one is right? The answer will be because it is unable to mate. I mean sterile. Question number 2. Choose the presence of living organisms like tiger and mule leads to an increase in the number of number A, species, number B, individuals, number C, genera plural of genus, number D, phyla, which is plural of phyla. Which one is right? Species, individual, genera, or phyla? The answer, of course, will be individuals. And this is all for today. Thank you.